Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is the pastime of Yudhishthira performing the Rajasuya sacrifice. First, Krishna had to take care of Jarasandha. Krishna was sitting in Dwaraka and he got two proposals. One, Narada Muni came to visit Krishna and said, Krishna, your friend Yudhishthira is inviting you to come to Hastinapur because Yudhishthira wants to perform the Rajasuya sacrifice. At that same time, a messenger came to Dwaraka. And the messenger came and said, Dear Lord Krishna, Jarasandha has captured 20,080 kings, and he wants to offer them in sacrifice to Lord Shiva, Mahabhairava. So this representative said, Krishna, the kings are asking, please save them. I mean, who wants to be sacrificed? So, two proposals were on the table. So Krishna said, Uddhava, you are very intelligent. You give me advice. Of course, Krishna knows everything. But he always likes to give service. And Krishna likes to see his devotee look better than him. So this was an opportunity for Uddhava to shine. And Uddhava said, well, Yudhishthira cannot do the Rajasuya sacrifice until Jarasandha surrenders. And of course, Jarasandha is never going to surrender. After all, he was defeated by Krishna 17 times, and still he wouldn't give up. So Uddhava said, first, you have to take care of Jarasandha, then Yudhishthira can do Rajasuya sacrifice. So that's what happened. So at the Rajasuya sacrifice, of course, there was the killing of Shishupal. And everybody saw when Krishna took the Sudarshan Chakra and cut off the head of Shishupal, everyone saw the spirit soul, Atma, come out like a meteor and entered Krishna's body. So Yudhishthira asked Narada all about that. And then, of course, Narada explained how this was the third time Krishna had killed. First he killed Hiranyakashipu. Then Hiranyakashipu took birth as Ravana. And he was killed by Lord Ram. Hiranyakashipu was killed by Nrsimha Bhagavan. So Narada said this was the third birth because he had been cursed. Now he is going back to his position in Vaikuntha. So after this, Yudhishthira once approached Narada and said, my dear Narada, I am a householder and I am so much entangled in material things that actually at that time Yudhishthira's opulence was envied even by Indra. That's how much opulence Yudhishthira had. He was so opulent. And of course, who was really jealous of Yudhishthira? Duryodhana. He couldn't stand it that Yudhishthira has performed the right. He has so much opulence. Duryodhana hated it. He was so jealous. So there's a nice conversation. It's recorded in the 7th canto. Yudhishthira asking questions about how householders can make tangible spiritual advancement. So in the course of their discussions, there's a nice section which I found for today. If you're ready to hear, repeat after me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So Narada is speaking to Yudhishthira. So you be Yudhishthira, I'll be Narada. O King of the earth, it has been decided by expert learned scholars that only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in whom all that is moving or non-moving within this universe is resting, and from whom everything is coming, is the best person to whom everything must be given. Because at that Rajasuya sacrifice, there was this one thing called Agra Puja, who was to be worshipped first. And it was Yudhishthira's younger brother, Sahadev. He stood up. Because in that sacrifice, there were demigods attended Yudhishthira's sacrifice. And Brahmins and kings and demigods. So this was no ordinary sacrifice. So Sahadev stood up in the assembly and said, all of you, I know you're all going to agree with me that in my opinion, the best person, the first person to be worshipped should be Krishna. Everybody applauded except Shishupal. And he made a big disturbance. And that's why Krishna cut off his head, because the Pandavas were about to kill him. And Krishna did not want a big disturbance, so Krishna took care of it. So here he's reiterating what Sahadev said. The best person to whom everything must be given, Krishna. Okay, then he says, O King Yudhishthira, the demigods, many great sages and saints, including even the 4 sons of Lord Brahma, that's the Kumaras. They were the first progeny of Lord Brahma at the beginning of creation. The first to be generated was the 4 Kumaras. And I myself were present at your Rajasuya sacrificial ceremony. But when there was a question of who should be first person worshipped, everyone decided upon Lord Krishna, the Supreme Person. And the word for Supreme Person, Purushottama. Everybody say. The entire universe, which is full of all living entities, is like a tree whose root is the Supreme Personality of God. And everybody say, Achyuta. Achyuta is another name for Krishna, means infallible. Whatever Krishna does is perfecto. Therefore, simply by worshiping Lord Krishna, one can worship all living entities. I mentioned this at the program this morning at Mahindra Bhai's house. We mentioned this point. The whole bhakti scheme is what Narada is saying here. Krishna is the root of all existence. Anyone who knows, if you want to grow a tree, to water the root, not the branches, the root. So, we worship the root. Here Narada is saying the whole universe is like a tree, and the root is Achyuta Krishna. Everybody say. So simply by worshiping Krishna, one can worship all living. Another example, you all know Mahabharata, right? Draupadi had that plate given to her by Surya. As long as she had not eaten, that plate would supply as much food as she wanted. But on that one day when Durvasa Muni was sent by, Duryodhana, that rascal, comes again. She had already eaten. And Durvasa came with his 10,000 disciples. And he said, we're going to take bath. When we come back, you have to feed us. So Yudhishthira doesn't know what to do. What are we going to do? She's already eaten. So what does Draupadi do? She meditates on who? Krishna. Krishna comes. He comes immediately. And he says to Draupadi, show me the plate. Anything left? Any little thing? So there was a little bit of something. Something. There's different opinions. Some say noodles, some... Anyway, there was something. Some say shak. There was something. There's, like I said, there's different versions. Okay? I'm not going to argue details. There was something left. So Krishna ate it, and Durvasa and all his disciples are in the river. We're so full. Oh my God. We can't go now. Ooh. If we go to Yudhishthira, and he may curse us because they respected Yudhishthira, that he had Shakti. So they just left. They didn't come back. They just left. So, because Krishna was satisfied, everybody, that is the bhakti principle. You satisfy Krishna. Prabhupada explains like this. Just like we have the beautiful deities, right? So, when you, ladies, when you get dressed up, you look in the mirror, right? Kajal or whatever. Because you are decorating, the reflection is decorated. So we are all reflections of Krishna. So when we decorate Krishna, we become simultaneously decorated. Like that. That's the bhakti scheme. Everything is done for Krishna first, and then automatically I'm taken care of. Okay, next point. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has created many residential places, the bodies of humans, animals, birds, saints, and demigods. And in all these innumerable bodily forms, the Lord resides within the living being as Padam Atma. Thus, Krishna is known as Purusha Avatar. Everybody say? So, this concept that Krishna is in the heart of everyone, this is such an important concept to really, really wrap your head around. Always try to remember. Like I told the story, I had a dream about him. I haven't dreamt about him in 10 years. The other day, he was in my dream. Later that day, he sends me email. And immediately I wrote him, you will not believe me. Krishna is in the heart. I had the dream, your email came. Very scary. I've had so many experiences like this. I'll think of something, the person shows up. That means Krishna's in the heart. Otherwise, I don't have some mystic power, but I have full faith that Krishna is in, and the Krishna in your heart is the same Krishna. It's not that two Krishnas are competing. No, it's the same Krishna. Bhishma said this on his deathbed. One of the last prayers of Bhishma on his deathbed, that the sun is one, but it's perceived differently by different, but it's only one sun. So there's one Krishna in the heart manifesting. The example is, you all know how when Gandhari struck her womb, she was pregnant, but she heard that Kunti had given birth already. So she tried to abort the baby. Then Vyasadeva said, no, no, no. You will have 100 sons. So they had 100 pieces, and each one gave. So there was one son. So imagine a big field, and in the field they're filled up with water, little water pots. So 12 noon you look, the sun will be reflected in every water pot. One sun reflects, so one Krishna reflecting in everyone's heart. Now here's another nice point. O King Yudhishthira, the super soul gives intelligence to the individual soul. This is mentioned by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Savasya chaham hridhi sanivishta matak spritir jnanam apohanam cha. Krishna says, from me in the heart, because he says, Sarvasya chaham hridhi sanivishta, situated in the heart. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So here it says, the super soul gives intelligence to the individual soul according to his or her capacity for understanding. So that means every one of us is an individual. Every one of us has a different capacity to get the intelligence from Krishna. The more you become Krishna's devotee, the more Krishna will act through you. You'll be able to see Krishna's presence in your heart. The super soul is manifested to the individual soul according to the individual's comparative development of knowledge. This knowledge does not mean material, it means spiritual knowledge. So the super soul will manifest or will guide you according to how much spiritual knowledge you have acquired. Where should I begin my spiritual knowledge? What book? Say it. Bhagavad Gita. That's where I should begin. So development of knowledge, austerity, and penance. So here, Narada is giving you clues. What's some good austerity? Akadashi. If you practice Akadashi, that's a very powerful austerity. Okay. My dear king. Okay, so this next verse, this morning I was speaking how the process of deity worship was we saw how Krishna told Uddhava. He was instructing Uddhava to worship the deity. So I was making the point. We are worshiping the deity on the order of God. It's not that we manufactured something. So if somebody says to you, oh, you worship idols. No. We are worshiping God the way He has instructed us to worship. It's not that we created something. No, it's an authorized process given by God. So here now, you're going to get some more information. Narada says, my dear king, when great sages and saintly persons saw mutually disrespectful dealings at the beginning of Treta Yuga, deity worship in the temple was introduced with all paraphernalia. In Satya Yuga, there was no need for deity worship. Why? Everybody from birth was highly spiritually elevated and could actually meditate on super soul in the heart. They were that advanced. But in the next age, Treta, what happened? Mutually disrespectful dealings. So in order to nullify that. That's why they instituted the process beginning in Treta Yuga. So this is the key. If you don't have mutually disrespectful dealings, you will be very, very good. So that's why now we are entering this next phase of creating the temple. So this we have to be careful of. Not to have disrespect. That we have to learn to respect each other and not have disrespectful dealings. Now the train of thought continues because there's more on this. So now Narada says, sometimes a neophyte devotee offers all the paraphernalia for worshiping the Lord, and the neophyte devotee factually worships the Lord as the deity. Now listen to what Narada says. But because the neophyte is envious of authorized devotees of Lord Vishnu, the Lord is never satisfied with the neophyte's devotee's devotional service. So this is a big point. Giving up envy and jealousy. There are other statements in Bhagavatam. It might be, no, I can't remember, but there's this one statement. I'm pretty sure it's Narada. What's the topmost religion? Giving up envy. If you can give up envy, you are situated in the topmost platform of religion. It's such a big thing. Giving up envy means recognizing you're not your body. Krishna's in your heart. Lord Shiva, during the Daksha Yajna, he was in meditation on Krishna in the heart. And later he told Sati, my dear Devi, I don't offer respect to the person. I offer respect to Krishna in the heart of that person. So, this is something to think about. If I see you, yes, but I'm seeing Krishna's. If Krishna can reside in your heart, why should I be envious of you? We have this concept, God the Father. So we, followers of Vedas, we should have yes, God is the Father. How? He's in everyone's heart. The same thing was there the night of the Rasa dance. Why you cannot criticize Krishna for dancing with the gopis. Why? Because Krishna was in the heart of the gopis. Was he not? Okay? So instead of staying in the heart, he came outside and danced with the gopis. What is the problem? He's already there. Krishna is in your heart. Yes, you all have husbands. That's all right. Nothing. But Krishna is also your husband. Yes, that's the idea. Yes, Krishna is my husband too. Everybody's. Yes, thank you, Batu. So the night of the Rasa dance, all Krishna did was come outside instead of staying in. So there's no fault. And meanwhile, all the husbands of the gopis, they were in bed with the material bodies of the gopis. So the husbands were thinking, my wife is right here. But the gopis were dancing with Krishna in their spiritual bodies. So the Rasa dance is completely pure. All the husbands were thinking, look, my wife is right there. See how great Krishna is? He covers everything. Let's continue. My dear king, of all persons A qualified Brahmana must be accepted as the best within this material world, because such a Brahmana, by practicing austerity, so this, if somebody claims to be a Brahmana, here is the symptoms. What makes one a Brahman? Practicing austerity, studying the Vedas, satisfaction. Prabhupada explains this. A Brahmana is happy in any condition. Like Sudama. When Sudama was dirt poor, he was happy. When Sudama became fabulously rich, he didn't become different. He was the same humble Sudama. He's a real Brahmana. Poor or rich, he's always learns how to be satisfied in any condition. That's a Brahman. And such a person becomes the counterpart of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So a real Brahmana, it's all a matter of how you act. Same thing in Bhagavad Gita. Shamo, Damak, Tapakshocham, Shantir, Arjavam, Evacha, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam, Brahma Karma. That line, Brahma Karma, and Krishna says, this is how a Brahmana acts. So everything is depending on how I act. In America, we have an expression. If it talks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it's a duck. But if a person has these Brahminical symptoms, peacefulness, sense control, purity, truthfulness, then that person should be accepted as a Brahmana. Same way, Hanuman. Hanuman does not have a human body. He has that, what's called Vanara, right? But Hanuman is the greatest devotee of Lord Ram. So the form, the body doesn't matter. It's the behavior. It's the consciousness. That's what determines. Narada continues. My dear King Yudhishthir, the Brahmanas, especially those engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord throughout the entire world, are recognized and worshipped by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the heart and soul of all creation. The Brahmanas, by their preaching, sanctify the three worlds with their dust of their lotus feet, and thus they are worshipable even for Krishna. So what kind of Brahman? The one who goes out preaching. So this is why we give so much emphasis and respect and worship to Srila Prabhupada. He proved it. He left India, came to America, and all he wanted to do was establish Krishna consciousness. And that's exactly what he did. And according to what Narada says here, especially those engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord. Those of you who know Bhagavad Gita, there's this very nice statement towards the end where Krishna says, there's no servant more dear to me than the person who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita. So, everybody wants God's blessing. Everybody. That's good. Here's how to get God's blessing. Somehow, preach the message of Krishna. In any way you can. Preach the message of Krishna, and you will be recognized, you will be protected, and you will be given amazing, amazing abilities. I have a practical example. One of my favorite stories. I've been a devotee for 2 years. So I was in Lucknow. Anybody been to Lucknow? Okay. Lucknow. So The sannyasi I was with, he said, Narantara, you go out on the street, another devotee is coming on a rickshaw, and you're going to go to this person's house, and you're going to try to make him a life member. So I'm waiting on the corner. All of a sudden, these two men come. Come with us. Uh-oh. And they take me down into this basement. And in this basement, there's a big table. And they said, sit down. And all of a sudden, the room fills up. So, you say you are devotee? Why did Krishna do this? So I had to give an answer. Then another person. Why Arjuna did this? I had to answer. This went on for like 20 minutes. One question, everyone was asking me questions. They wanted to see, are you the real thing or are you some CIA man? So they wanted to see whether I was bona fide. Thanks to Krishna, I gave all the right answers. After about 20 minutes, they said, okay, we'll let you go. We can see you are a real devotee. I still can, if I close my eyes, I can still see that room. They were asking me about Bhishma. They were asking me this and this. So many, but Prabhupada trained us. Because every morning we have class. Every evening we had class. So you have to study. Fortunately, that was a good day for me. Everybody chant the Mahamantra. Japa class.